What's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to be discussing a fragrance that I did not realize I would enjoy as much as I actually do. I wear it to the gym. I wear it out the shower. I wear it as daily wear fragrance. It literally does it all for me. If you're in a warmer climate, I could see this being a complete signature scent for you if you're in, like, say, the Gulf Coast region, for example. And it's very affordable. Anywhere from the $30 to $50 price point, and I think it's worth it across that $20 scope to get your hands on a bottle of Missoni Wave. And we're going to be going in depth on this one. I've been spending a lot of time with it. So stay tuned. Now, as far as this scent, so I'll have the notes on screen for you guys, and this is a bomb of aromatics in the top. The C notes give that aquatic appeal. You will get this citrusy orange smell. The orange really stands out, especially after the initial blast, and a few minutes in, the orange really starts to come through and shine with the aquatics. But the lavender clary sage combo adds this beautiful, creamy, bright, soapy, aromatic feel. And I mean heavily aromatic. This is one of the more aromatic dominant fragrances. I think what I said in the beginning was probably the best way that I can put it. So it's got a lot going for it, reminiscent of two different fragrances. I find it has, at first, more of a Versace Pour Homme type of scent profile going, and then admittedly, as it starts to dry down, it does start to resemble Chanel Allure Homme Sport. It kind of smells like the best of both worlds in one bottle, with similar performance to more of the Chanel Allure Homme Sport side, which we'll talk about performance here in just a little bit, because as this one starts to dry down, it's so good. God, this fragrance is so good. As this starts to dry down, you start to get a little bit more spice coming in. It's very airy, but there's still a creamy, aromatic, soapy density and backbone to this fragrance, because where you get this soapy freshness up top, it starts to settle into a much more creamy fragrance, and I think that's the patchouli providing that creamy edge, because there's no sandalwood in here. You do get a little bit of a woody nuance as it starts to settle down and really get into the dry down a few hours into the life of this fragrance. That's really can only be the vetiver, because according to the note breakdowns I've seen, there's no woody notes in there, but it has a very distinctive soft wood smell in the background. This is very aquatic, but such a great crowd pleaser that even though I said it smells like a combination of two other fragrances, because of that, that makes it a little bit more on the unique side as far as cheap aquatic blue fragrances are concerned, because this kind of rides the line of blue meets light blue, because it has a lot of the freshness that you would expect from a light blue fragrance with a lot of the density and, I guess you could say, depth, really. Light sweetness, spice, woody nature, a lot of these more dense base components that you would expect from a blue fragrance that kind of give it a little bit more staying power, because light blue fragrances tend to be so fresh that they lack in performance a lot of the times in most cases. Here you kind of get a little bit of everything. This is kind of, dare I say, one of the more ultimate blue fragrances out there, because it checks so many boxes for me. I know there's a lot of people out there really enjoying this one. It's There's a sweetness from this vanilla orchid. It does have a little bit of a floral tone here, but it never comes across as a very flowery scent. It's almost like stepping into a garden type of flowery smell where you can't really specifically tell exactly what flower you're smelling, but there's a light, kind of white floral tone. Not really a rose or a jasmine or any of that, just a light white floral tone. But vanilla orchid was, I find, a very interesting note to use in this fragrance because it provides sweetness and additional creaminess without being too sweet. And for as much as I keep pointing out how creamy this is, I don't feel like it's overdone. It really balances well. There are a few things that stand out a little bit more than others, but as it changes, the balance kind of shifts as you lose some of your citruses and that aquatic C note feel. You start to get into more floral, sweet, and woody and lightly creamy. So it does change a little bit. Not the most complex of scent profiles. It's not, multiple nuanced, multiple staged fragrance, but there is a certain level of depth here without it being a very deep fragrance or a very simple fragrance at the same time. The scent on this is absolutely freaking gorgeous. It's my scent of the day as I speak of it right now. I wore it to the gym this morning. I wore it out the shower last night, and if you're a betting person, put money on me wearing this out the shower tonight as well, because every time I grab it, I end up wearing it for all three phases of my day. I have yet to wear this fragrance just as a daily wear or just to the gym, or I have one time wore it just out the shower, but the following day I wore it all day long. So for those of you that watch me on a regular basis, that should tell you just how much I'm really digging this fragrance. I paid $31.99 at a TJ Maxx. So check your TJ Maxx's, check your rack stores. Gift sets are out, stuff like that. If not, I did find it for $42 on Amazon, which is still $13 cheaper than FragranceNet has it after the 37% coupon code. So I will have the Amazon link down below. That's the cheapest I've really seen it, aside from, even at $55, I think it's worth it for FragranceNet because it smells so damn good. But $42 is obviously a lot better. So if you're interested in this fragrance, definitely check that link below. But more importantly, for the best price, check your rack stores. Now let's discuss this performance. So it's not a beast. So when I get excited about talking about the performance, it's not a beast. It does fall in the 6 to 8 hour range though. That's what surprises me about it. For as light and fresh as this fragrance is, that dry down gives it a lot of staying power. It's more so in the 6 to 7 hour range for me. If you lightly spray your shirt 1 or 2 times, you'll definitely go 8 hours and beyond with this. Probably more so into the 10 to 12 hour range if you spray your clothes. It's a light colored juice. It's not a heavy oil concentration. I think you can get away with spraying your clothes, though I haven't found the need or had the urge to spray my shirt. I just spray my bare chest, kind of fan it off for a second, and then I spray around my neck. In the evenings, I do spray because I wear sleeveless shirts to sleep most of the time. I spray on my upper arms as well to kind of enhance the scent bubble. And speaking of the projection as well as the sillage, projection on this is average. It's not super strong, but it's not weak at all. Definitely in that average arm's length type of stuff. A few feet out, it will reach in the first hour to 2 hours. After the 2 hours, and your sillage starts to settle into what it's going to be for pretty much the remainder of the fragrance, it's on the moderate to mild side as well. Whereas it's actually a little bit stronger in the trail than the last fragrance I reviewed. The last fragrance I reviewed, which was at the same day of this review, Mercedes-Benz Man Grey. This actually has similar performance to it with being a completely different scent profile and good for the same things, but better at more casual settings than Mercedes-Benz Man Grey, whereas I think that's a better work fragrance overall. Don't get me wrong, this would be great in the office as well. I think the performance falls into the sweet spot with the freshness for this to be a more casual, laid-back setting type of fragrance. This is an even higher compliment factor type of DNA, and the performance is there to be able to reach out and grab somebody. I'm not saying you're definitely going to get a compliment from somebody when you walk by them when you're wearing this fragrance, but fragrances like this heighten the opportunity at a chance of somebody smelling you and wanting to tell you you smell nice. I do like when they are pronounced, but not overwhelming. Don't get me wrong, there's some situations where I like a super strong, room-filling, overwhelming fragrance, but majority of the time, I like stuff that performs like this. 6 to 8 hours in longevity, arm's reach, type of projection, and moderate to mild sillage, where when you walk by somebody, it won't punch them in the nose, but they will get a light whiff of the aroma. The performance on this, I think, is fantastic. Final thoughts on Missoni Wave is I think this is a must-buy. Safe blind buy. Don't get me wrong, there's not too many that I will sit here and say, yeah, by all means, blind buy it. More times than not, you're going to have to anyways. If you can find this in the rack stores, I think it's worth rolling the dice on. This is one of those fragrances to me. Those of you that follow me on the other social media platforms besides YouTube, you'll have noticed that I wear this one pretty often. This is kind of a go-to for me right now. It's just so enjoyable. I kind of keep reaching for it. And with so much variety, so many fragrances always coming in, and so many options to choose from, that makes a pretty hefty statement in my mind. For me, that's just how much I'm enjoying it. If you trust my opinion, this is definitely worth at least getting your nose on. Get a decant from a friend that has a bottle online, just whatever. Try this fragrance. If you like Chanel L'Homme Sport and you don't want to rebuy it for that hefty price point, this is a great alternative. If you like Versace Pour Homme, but you're looking for a little bit more performance maybe, or you're looking to spend a little bit less money on a bigger bottle, because you can get this for less than you can get a 100 ml of Versace Pour Homme. Depending on where you find it, they're what and what, but this has more depth and character to the scent profile than Versace Pour Homme. Like I said, it kind of takes a little bit of the best parts of both Chanel L'Homme Sport and Versace Pour Homme to make this fragrance. Overall rating on this one, this is definitely an 8 out of 10 fragrance. I'm so happy with this one. I would like to get a small 1 ounce bottle to keep in my gym bag to replace Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Blue. That's normally, I'm on my second 1 ounce bottle of that. I always keep that in there to wear to the gym. That's kind of my default. This has kind of been taking over its spot. While I do have variety for what I wear to the gym, been reaching for this one a lot more. And then when I get home, I refresh with this. And then when I got the shower that night, I refresh with this. So I'm loving this stuff. It definitely gets the TLTG Review stamp of approval. This is must try, blind buy safe. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Missoni Wave. One of the best cheapies out there right now, in my opinion. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this? What do you think about it? Just because I'm loving it doesn't mean you will. But I have been seeing a lot of posts on social media. There's a lot of people pulling this out this time of year that really dig this fragrance. And I can absolutely see why. While it's not a brand new release and I'm a little bit late to the party, I'm definitely glad to be at the party now with this one, because this stuff is freaking phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff, especially if you can find it at the rack stores. If not, Amazon's got them for a great price. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Missoni Wave and you give it a spray now, I'm very confident you'll thank me later. This stuff is incredible. Have a good one, guys.